Welcome everybody. It's Greg Campitelli, the founder and director of Catholic Schools Guide. And our today's Lunch and Learn series, we've got some great friends of Catholic Schools Guide. The folks down at JWAM and Alumni, Nathan and Prashant, thanks for joining us here today. We're going to get formally underway in a moment and let you say hello.
Pleasure. Thanks. Welcome, everyone.
Thanks very much for having us, Greg.
Absolute pleasure. And from my team at Catholic Schools Guide, many of you will know Christy and Amy.
Hello. Hello.
Who are the real drivers of Catholic Schools Guide as opposed to the as Greg Campitelli. Today, what the common thread here is driving and building an alumni program for Catholic secondary colleges, because everyone who's on the webinar today comes from a Catholic secondary college. Now, of course, all schools, primary and secondary, should be talking about an alumni engagement program. What's really interesting is alumni expect that you know that they're alumni, yet how do you know it? If they're shopping around for your school or visiting your school, or often they just kind of assume that you know. And of course, you may not know. So it's really important that you capture this information in as many touch points as you can, capturing it when families are expressing interest in coming to your school and seeing their children. And, hey, by the way, do you happen to be a child of an alumni or not? And then nurturing them on the journey, and then delivering a best-in-class experience once they leave, because, of course, the alumni can be utilised for work experience programs, tutoring programs, reunions, business directories, business breakfasts, there's philanthropy, future students. All these pathways are connected to alumni. So, Christy, I might get you to, we'll just speak a bit about Catholic Schools Guide for about a minute or two, and then we'll bridge the connection to the alumni presentation. Catholic Schools Guide, who's putting on today's presentation, was founded in 2010. I personally have been this is my 40th year. I started in 1983, Nathan, as a teacher at a Catholic secondary school. And fast forward 40 years, and it feels like it's gone pretty quick. That's what I've been doing in the last 40 odd years, education in the not-for-profit sector. I think we were right for housekeeping. We're being recorded, and we know everyone knows it's being recorded. We'll keep going, please, Christy. We've just put out our new media kits. Our theme for next year is our past, our present, and our future. What struck me, and Amy and Christy and I were just talking about this recently, Nathan, here's two amazing statistics that I looked up. I'm just it's mind blowing. This is ABS statistics, not Greg Campitelli statistics. 40% of the Australian population moved address in the last 5 years.
Wow.
And they tend not to move from Glen Iris to Glen Iris. They're tending to move from Glen Iris to maybe some other part of
Ocean Grove.
Yeah, Ocean Grove. Now that means that's a staggering amount of people. That's about 10 million people. And most of those are families. Yeah. Those families are looking for a new school. And so that's really, really interesting. So that's why we want you to be in Catholic Schools Guide for a whole lot of reasons. And the other big one is that Christy, that I'm always staggered is 30% of the Australian population were born overseas. That means they don't speak English as their first language. And that means they may not be aligned to a Catholic story. So it represents a new challenge for Catholic schools in ensuring they are connecting with their alumni network and connecting with their future family network. We'd love you to be part of the Catholic Schools Guide. And we produce, there's two parts to it. There's a print edition and there's the online experience. And if your school happens to be in Greater Metropolitan Melbourne, Greater Metropolitan Sydney, or Greater Metropolitan Brisbane, you can come into the relevant print edition. And we print over 80,000 copies, and we go to 2,500 destinations. And it's a 12-month copy. It's a very beautiful book. It's a very 12-month coffee table feel, and it gets straight into the hands of the people who you need it, because it gets distributed through the Catholic Primary School Network and the Government Primary School Network. And it's a bit like the black jelly bean, isn't it, Amy? People don't get a lot of print anymore. And so when they get it, they go, this is great. And they're sort of thumbing through it. So we get a very high readership. In terms of the digital, obviously, you can also be in the digital. Go to catholicschoolsguide.com.au and your school should be listed for free now. Or you might have a featured premium page. So we'd encourage all the schools on today's webinar to go and make sure you've got your free listing there. And then Amy will speak to you about whether you'd like to have that upgraded. If you just go back one slide for me, Christy, please. If you'd like to go have that upgraded. So in terms of the Google presence, we're getting 13,000 unique page views per month, 5.7 million Google searches over the last 12 months, get unlimited open day and tour promotion, analytics, direct parent inquiries. The Finder School is the most popular landing page. So just get on it and have a look, and Amy will follow up without pressure to see if you'd like to be part of the Catholic Schools Guide family moving forward. People who are looking for a Catholic school will often go to, Catholic schools, and it'll bring up our website, and they'll search on our website before they go to your website, if that makes sense. All right, so on we go, Christy. As I said, the theme is our past, our present, and our future. And I'm going to get Amy, who's on the call today, to contact you over the next week or two, and she'll be in touch without any pressure. Today's session is about how to kickstart your college's alumni engagement network, your 7-point action plan to launch your alumni in under 1 week. Now, if you just go to the next slide, I've just done, Nathan and you and I were talking about this, I've done a huge alumni engagement plan for one of Catholic college that actually happens to be on a call today, just recently. And I was out at the college last night presenting to the principal and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that's like a 65-page document. And that's the plan, right? So we know that the great assets, if you want to have a successful alumni engagement program, you need the plan, because a plan, if you don't have a plan, you don't know what you're doing. You've got to have a database. And this is where Nathan and Prashant will be able to really help you. How to build the database or get your existing database and bring it into the alumni program, because that's the software connection. That's the bridge to the outside world. So if you've got the plan, which is what Campitelli can help you with, and you've got the alumni piece, which is what Nathan and Prashant can help you piece, you've got two of the biggest wedges done. The next two things you need is a budget, tick. You need a person, which is probably you. And you may like to have an association, which can be incorporated or unincorporated entity. Now, that's optional. You don't actually need an alumni association to execute a plan and build your database. So you don't have to hold it up. That's why I marked, Nathan, that is optional. What does my plans typically look like? So, Christy, if you just bring up the next slide. The plan that I've just delivered for a school has every one of these spokes to the wheel. So it's way more than reunions, guys. That is just one piece of your plan. And all of these aspects, Nathan, are typically included in one of my bespoke plans that I do for a school. But we've got a bit of an offer that we'll talk about at the end of the session today, that we'll talk about a generic off-the-shelf plan that schools can buy rather than the more expensive, I come out and work with your plan. So Nathan, I think that's a perfect opportunity to go to you. We're 9 minutes in, and I'll hand over to you and let you present your screen and take us through this fantastic product that you've developed.
Great. Thank you very much, Greg. And thank you for everyone who's attending today. Just to back up quickly, today we're going to go over the 7-point action plan. We really think it is very achievable to launch an alumni network in around a week's time. So it's a big, bold claim, but hopefully by the time you get to the end of the presentation with me, you can see how it is achievable. And yeah, biting into those 7 chunks, just a few hours here and there, is very achievable. I know everyone's very busy, so just getting a few hours in a week is probably the most challenging part. So hopefully everyone can kind of make that happen. So what is Alumni? There's quite a few kind of different ways and buzzwords to explain what Alumni is. It's quite a big thing, but at the end of the day, it makes your life very simple. So it's a cloud-based alumni networking and management platform, and it's built purely for schools, colleges, educational institutions. And what it does, we're aiming to unite your alumni community and to foster networking between them. So it kind of naturally occurs without you having to do so much either. So that's very important. And ultimately, we want to create philanthropic endeavors. So you might not be ready to, do donations or fundraising or anything like that yet, but when you are ready, it can step up to that stage as well. And kind of the main thing that's driving everything is a very smart, centralized, streamlined database. And we've got lots of different feature-rich modules that you can add to Alumni as well, depending on where you are in the cycle of setting up your alumni engagement platform. So that's a quick snapshot. Everything should become more and more obvious as I go through the presentation. You see more of Alumni. Just to give you a bit of an understanding on JWAM, we were founded in 1975 by my father. So I wasn't actually around back then. I was still a couple of years off being founded myself. But yeah, with that, JWAM's been working in the 100% in the digital technology space since about 2000, which was when the website was all new, and you had to explain to everyone what a website was and how they were important to everyone. And since then, we've liaised with over 400 plus educational institutions. And Alumni was actually set up and went live about a year ago. We've got 175 educational institutions now, not all of them on the platform, but we're onboarding them as well. So we're seeing amazing growth in our products, and it's very exciting to see how quickly schools are seeing the value in Alumni. So JWAM builds websites. We also have JWAM Channel and ePortales, which is more the portal side of things. Then we've got the Alumni product as well. So we're a full kind of digital service suite for schools. That's a quick snapshot on JWAM. Now, a bit of history on why we built Alumni. To begin with, when we were building websites for schools, say around circa 2010, we started building websites for schools, and then they wanted a special standalone website for alumni sites. We then started to see this space mature with the rise of social media in Australia. So around 2012, Facebook was becoming more prominent, LinkedIn. So yeah, we were starting to see how people were growing their networks within those platforms. And by 2016, that's when schools were starting to go, how do we bridge the gap between our websites and social media? You know, it's all becoming very time consuming. And by the time we got to around 2019, that's when we saw we need to start conducting a lot of interviews with our school clients to work out how we can make something that's going to bridge the gap between everything. So by 2020, we'd actually come with the full design of what we needed to build for Alumni. And the main kind of take homes that we got when talking with all schools was they were very time poor, so it needed to be very streamlined. And we needed to just be very smart. So how we can engage the network and how we can sync up that data and keep it up to date. So they were all very important items. So we launched Alumni back at the very end of May 2022. So we're actually coming up to our first birthday. So exciting times. Yeah, Prashant, we might need to actually throw a birthday party coming up. I haven't thought about that. We don't want our one-year-old products feeling left out. So
absolutely.
Yeah, we'll better do that. Now, as a bit of a platform overview, just so everyone can get their head around it, I'd like to say there's two parts to Alumni. There's the school CMS part. So this is how the schools log into the back end and administer everything. They can search the database, send out emails, add events, everything like that. And then we've got the front forward-facing network. So this is where your network logs in using social media platforms. And this is where the magic all happens and syncs up into the Alumni database. So just to dive a little bit deeper into that, when you first set up your Alumni landing page or Alumni site, what you're going to be doing is you're going to import your alumni data into the back end of the system. And once this is done, the system will send out an email invite to everyone, telling them about your wonderful new Alumni site and inviting them to join. And what we want to do is not, in fact, encourage them to join using email, but would rather them use a social media platform, Facebook, LinkedIn, or the Google accounts. And the reason for that is people get password fatigue. They don't remember what their passwords are. So it's much better if they're signing in using one of their existing platforms. Much easier for them to keep up to date. And we can sync that data that's already in that account to our Alumni database. So that's where it starts to get that advantage. Yeah, so within this platform, what you're going to want to do is promote it on your school website. So you'll set up a page getting people to come across to your Alumni site. social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, any others you want to promote to join the network within those sites. And at events and direct mail, you can actually set up QR codes so that people can just scan that QR code and join Alumni that way as well. There's one good thing that's come out of COVID. It is now marketers can use QR codes confidently, knowing everyone knows how to scan a QR code, which is one good thing. All right, so let's get stuck into the action plan in just a moment. Before I do, I want to just take you through to show you a demo site that we've got set up here. So this is what your alumni site looks like. This is what you're going to be sharing to your school community and getting them to sign up and join within the platform. So this is for JWAM Grammar, which is not a real school. And you can see you put your logo in here, you can have a hero image of the school. And then when you start getting people joining your network, it automatically generates these thumbnails as well. So a bit of a teaser of who's within that network. I don't like name dropping, but you can see Alumni, JWAM Grammar has quite a few celebrities attending. So it's quite the enticing platform for here. So when I want to first join the platform, you can click on the button here and you can click on register, and you can see where we've got giving prominence to join with Google, Facebook, or LinkedIn, or you can create an old-fashioned account with email and a password. So I'm going to sign in today using my Google account. So I'll click on Google, and then it will just ask permission. So this is my personal Google account here. And that's going to automatically sign me into the platform. So I've already signed in before, and what you get is your dashboard when you first land. So the dashboard is a bit of a melting pot of everything that's happening within Alumni, so you can get a feel for what's going on. We've got a space here for what we call a feature event, so that could be a reunion or upcoming event. There'll also be fundraising if you want to start promoting fundraisers. We've got the news on the right-hand side. This is a bit of a news feed. And then also in the activity feed, these are people that I've been following. So when people are interacting within the Alumni website, it's telling me what they've been doing as well. So it gives you a bit of a snapshot there. And then just to help get people being social and interacting with one another, it's also going to suggest other people that I may know. So you can see Dwayne Johnson, Leonardo DiCaprio here as well. So I can click on their profile and start connecting with them as well. Now, the first time you log or create an Alumni account, it is going to ask you to complete your profile. So when you first come in, you'll be greeted with this screen here, where you can complete more information about you. So we want to encourage your alumni to give you as much pieces to the puzzle as they can. So this first tab here is purely data that is for your school. This isn't going to be available to anyone else on the Alumni platform, just for your school. You can see all the fields that are available in there. I can upload a different photo. This will take it from your default avatar, so you can change that if you want to. Another really nice point is you can contribute back in with the network, so how you might want to help. So these are really nice items that enable you to feel part of the community, so I can become a mentor. So you can see we've got some items that are ticked in here of how I'm willing to contribute back to the network, which is really nice for that community vibe. And it's very handy as a school, so you can search for how people might be able to contribute back to your network as well. Now, we also have some other tabs here. So there's education, work, awards, social, and my story. So these items here are all going to be visible within the network. So if I complete my work experience or history and put in anything for social networks, this will be available within the directory for people to see what I've been doing, what I'm up to. So this is the profile section, very important driver in what makes Alumni work. Now, what a lot of people are going to be doing when they first join and they've completed their profile, they're then going to jump into the directory, and they can either start browsing it just by scrolling through the list of all the available people who have already joined the network, or they can start searching. Now, this search is really important for people who want to just search by a particular graduation year, or they might be looking for a particular way, they might be looking for mentors or something like that. So I could search someone to be a mentor, and I might also look in particular industry. Maybe I'm in the accounting industry, And if I really want to drill down, you might even type in a location. So I might want to, maybe I'm overseas in London and I want to connect with alumni there. So we've got lots of different ways people can search for one another. Or I can just, of course, search for long lost friends that way. So if I start to look for Prashant, you can see his profile's coming up here, and I can click on him and see who he's already connected with, his work history, education, importantly, how he's willing to help, his social media, where I can connect with him out there if I want to. So these are really nice bits of information you can see straight away on the directory. Things that I can't see are his mobile phone number or his email address. So this is very much like LinkedIn, where we've got a we've kind of detached the way to contact them directly. So if I want to reach out to Prashant, what I can do is click on this messaging icon here, and I can complete a message and send him, and it'll send him an email through the Alumni platform. So I don't know Prashant's email address. I can put in what I want in this message, but he then needs to get back to me. So he'll see an invitation from Alumni, click here, and what he'll be able to do is then jump into the Alumni system. He'll see a message in here from me, and he can reply back through here. And it's up to Prashant if he wants to then give his mobile number, or if he doesn't want to connect, he can ignore me altogether. It's entirely up to him. But that's just an important distinction of how people can communicate. Some people do worry that, you know, there's email addresses or phone numbers or something like that. We do have that disconnect. It's entirely up to the alumni person if they want to provide any of this information, and they need to do it manually. It's not automatically going to happen. Okay. Now, just jumping through some other items in here, I'll just keep a check on time. I just think I'm doing okay, so I'll keep moving along. Now, we also have events, so you can set up events within the Alumni system as well. It's very streamlined and easy to do. So if I click on this particular mid-year escape in Bali, being down in Victoria, we're starting to get in the colder months, so this looks pretty attractive right now. I might need to complete and register for this one. But you can see it's got a nice pro forma template. You've got a hero image, you've got the date, you can see which people are starting to register for this event. In this section here, you can add as much copy or text, photos, even YouTube videos or embed videos in here. And we've got a map at the bottom. So I don't know if anyone knows Bali very well, but you can see where this event's being located here. So if I click in register, this automatically lets you fill out a form. All this data is going to go into Alumni, and it's very integrated the way it goes into our platform. Makes it really easy for you to see all your registrations all in one place. And you can even email all your registrations with the click of a button as well. So it's very streamlined. And when I click on go to payment, this is going to use Stripe Payment Gateway to make a real-time credit card payment go directly to your school's Stripe account. So everything's really integrated and simple to set up as well. So that's fundraising, events. We also have fundraising, which works in a very similar method to events as well. Instead, with fundraising, you can set up a target, so you can work out how much you want to raise for a particular initiative, how you're going to that target date or amount as well. We've got some discussions in here. Once again, you can insert as much content as you want in here. Now, with the donations, you can actually make suggested donations, so it's up to you what those three amounts are going to be. But it's very similar. If I click on make a donation, we're going to be able to complete a credit card payment, and this real-time payment gateway goes through Stripe, and it's all going to go into the Alumni platform recorded there, so it's all in one place for you. Some other modules that we have I'll quickly talk about is we've got a new job search we just added a little over a month ago. So this enables both schools and alumni to post jobs within the Alumni platform. So as you know, schools are all looking for staff. I think most would say it'd be quite handy to be able to reach out to your alumni. What better fit normally than to get old collegians, old boys, old girls, whatever you like to call them, to come back and work within the school. So that's a really nice way to do it. But you can also value add because your school community can also put their own positions here as well. So that's all very streamlined, how that's going to be added into this system. We also have photos, so you can create photo albums. These are really good for creating archives and also reunions that you've been having, events and things like that. So when you set up these photo albums, what we actually recommend is you want people to be logging into the Alumni platform. So when you share some photos on social media, you want to make it obvious that the remaining photos are all located within your Alumni network. So that way it's kind of encouraging people, I won't say forcing, but encouraging them to log in, giving them getting your contact details or their contact details into the database. So that's going to further strengthen and keep everything up to date for you as a database in the platform. We also have a news section. So this is where you can set up news items or articles. This is very quick and easy to do. Takes about 5 minutes to set up a news article in here. So if I click into any of these articles, you can see you can put as much content into here as you like. You can see there's a shop down here. This is another module coming along as well. And we're also very shortly going to be releasing a business directory. So we've got a lot happening on the Alumni platform, and it's only going to get bigger and better as we grow it in time. So that's a quick snapshot on what Alumni is. Now, you'll no doubt have lots of questions, and we'll see what questions we can get to at the end. But I now want to run through the 7-point action plan so you can see how you can get from this point you are right now to the point where you've got an Alumni network site ready to go for your college. So step 1 in the process is to spin up your Alumni site. So when you reach out to us, we'll actually send you a link. You click on the link, and this is how you spin up your site. You're going to put in the basic details of your school. You're going to put in your credentials, which create your admin account. So it's all automated. Within 20 minutes is quite generous. You'll probably do it in 10. By the time you've completed the form, you will have spun up your own Alumni site. The whole thing is automated. We don't need to do anything. It's all taken care of automatically. So once you've got your Alumni site, you're then able to log into the school CMS. And this is where we've really streamlined things. So you can very quickly put in all your school information, location details, social media accounts, upload your school logo, and play with the school color scheme as well. So it's very easy using a color picker just to adjust all the colors. So it all looks like it's 100% for your school. So once you've done that, we've got this as a 30-minute time to do something like this, but it's very quick and easy to do. And then you're well on your way. You've done step 2. So now for step 3, we actually want you to start loading some content into your Alumni platform. The first place to start is by adding some news articles. So what we normally recommend you do is go back to your school website and social media posts and get some of that content and create some new articles within the Alumni platform. So they get you up and running pretty quickly. So normally creating a news article takes about 5 minutes. So you can create about 6 news articles in a 30-minute time frame. So very quick and easy to do. So now you've got your news articles in the system. We now want you to focus on getting some photo content in there. Photos are really important because it really does create engagement. People like commenting on photos, liking them, and they'll spend time looking through photo albums and things like that. So the kind of photo albums that you want to start setting up are reunions for past reunions that you've held, major events, and of course, archives, some old memories and things like that as well. So once you've got these in there, we've allowed about a 60-minute time frame to do that, but it really will depend on how much time, how many photos you want to put in there. You can bulk upload photos, so it's a very streamlined process, but I've allowed 60 minutes for you to get some base photos in our system. So once you've done this, step 5 is actually optional tasks. So these aren't really must-have items in order to launch your Alumni site, but they're nice things to have if they make sense for your college. So these are to add events. So we can, of course, run events just like I've shown you in the Alumni platform. You can set up some job posts. If you've got any positions vacant at your school, pop these in so they're there waiting for your alumni to see them. And you can also put in fundraisers if you're in that area where you want to start taking donations or any philanthropic opportunities. They're all here as well. So if you wanted to spend a bit of time, you might have another 45 minutes to do that. Okay, step 6 is to launch. So you've already got all the content in there. So what we want you to do is start sharing the Alumni networking site on your website. So you'll create a page inviting people to join, explaining what the site does and what opportunities it's bringing to them. And you also want to share it on your social media areas like Facebook, LinkedIn. If you're using Twitter as well, that's fine. So yeah, put it out there as much as you can. So you're getting everyone to find it and join in and create those accounts. So you're then getting the data into the Alumni system. Now, the last piece of the puzzle is actually to import your own alumni database that you already have. So we've got 2 different templates that you can import your data into. There's a simple one or an advanced one. So depending on how much information you've got from your alumni data will dictate whether you want to do the simple or advanced method. Now, this is just, putting data into an Excel spreadsheet. You then import that directly into Alumni. It's super automated, so it's only going to take 10 minutes to do, if that. And as soon as you've imported the data into the Alumni system, our system sends out the email inviting them to join the system. So they'll click on the link and then they can choose what social media account they want to use, or they can still use email if they want. And that tracking link will then hook up to a different, if they choose to use a social media account, it will assign that account to that particular email address you already had in the system. So it's very clever, so you're not going to get duplicate accounts that way. So we like to invite people to use their preferred login method. We think that's much more inclusive, better way to do it. So here at Alumni, we say we're social media agnostic. We're not pushing them one way or another. They get to choose what platform they want to use. So there's the 7 steps on how to get everyone there and your Alumni platform set up. So the promise was to get a network set up in under a week. You can see with all these times here, we add up to 3.5 hours. So if you can find 3.5 hours in your week, then you can do it within that time frame. Maybe you could do it in a day. If you can lock off half a day and get that done, that's possible. We have had people do that before as well. Or if you just can't get 3.5 hours, maybe you need to do it over a fortnight. But we really do believe it's super achievable to be able to do this in under a week. So that's the process that you would go through. So as far as next steps go, for anyone who would like to, try Alumni, we actually have a risk-free offer today. So we have a 60-day free trial for our Pro plan. So you can use our top-of-the-line Pro plan for 60 days, get everything up and running, and then evaluate and see what you think of Alumni. If you don't think you need the Pro plan, you can, of course, downgrade to one of our other plans as well. Or the really good thing is you can come back down to our basic or free plan. Now, our free plan is what we call the core of what you need to get set up. And everything that was included in our 7-step action plan, except for step 5, which was to set up events and fundraisers, is included in the free basic plan. So you can actually come back to pay nothing if you don't want to or don't have a budget. You can still get all this set up and feel confident that at the end of the day, you can keep running your Alumni network without having to fork out extra money if you don't have the budget to do that. Hopefully, you'll see the value in using some of the other modules, but we're 100% happy for you to stay on the basic plan. Excuse me. Now, as Greg had mentioned earlier, we put together a really special bonus for you with the alumni engagement plan that Greg was saying before I started my presentation. So that's normally valued at $5,000. Now, if you take up one of our paid plans, we can actually give you a further discount on that $5,000 plan. So if you go for our more cost-effective light plan, then it's $4,000 plus GST to initiate that plan. If you go with our Pro, then it's only $3,000 saving you a further $2,000 off that plan. Now, this is just optional. If you see value and you'd like to really see all those spokes that were in the wheel, then this is a great opportunity to avail that offer and get it at a reduced rate. So anyone who would like to take up the next steps and reach out to us, you can go to alumni.com. So if you bounce on to our website, from here you can schedule a demo, or you can have a look at our pricing page just to see what's in there. You won't see our 60-day free trial on our website, but we will know you've come from this seminar today. So we'll be able to give you that free 60 days, 100% no obligation trial. And we really feel like we've eliminated any risk here as well for you. So yeah, jump on our website and take a look. If you want to get started, just click on the Get Started button and complete the web form, and you're away. We'll get in contact with you. We'll send you a link so you can spin up your own site and start, having a play and assess. We want you to experience what our platform has to offer. So that concludes my presentation at the moment. Do we have any queries, Greg?
Nathan, I think it's amazing, because one of the things is it all becomes too hard. People say, oh, it's too hard, I'll do that next month, I'll do it next term, next semester, next year, because it doesn't feel like it's core business and it has to be done tomorrow. What you've done, you and Prashant and the team have done, has removed the barrier to entry. And the barrier to entry is only twofold. It's time and it's money. So I don't have the time. Well, if we can't do 3.5 hours, then I think you've solved that. You've solved that problem. Hey, we can have your site up and running in literally 3.5 hours. The second barrier to entry is price. I don't have the money, Nathan. Well, you've got a free option.
Yep.
And you've got a 60-day trial on the Pro plan, which is the best option, to say, well, okay, I'm going to do it for 60 days. Nathan and Prashant will speak to me whether I start on the Pro plan and start paying, or I slide down to growth, or slide down to light, or slide down to free. So this is a no-risk strategy. So all the schools that come on today, should I be building a beautiful website that I can either do myself and pay thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, or get a best-in-class experience that I can use with the Alumni product? Well, I know what I'd be saying. And I know that this product is way less expensive than a couple of other products that are on the market that you might be familiar with. So you might have heard of Potentiality and Graduate. They are much more expensive than the Alumni product. The other thing I like about Nathan and Prashant's product, it's Australian owned, it's Australian design, and it's built with a deep understanding of the Australian education sector and about how we work. Nathan and I have been working with each other for 15 or 16 years now. And whether it's Catholic Schools Guide, whether it's Inquiry Tracker, whichever product, we're all about building best-in-class experiences so that can have great relationships with other products. So Nathan and I meet every week and are always looking at how do our companies work more closely together to ensure that the clients get a fabulous experience. So the added extra is the Alumni Engagement Plan. You don't have to choose that if you don't wish to. But Nathan and I believe sort of it's like eggs without bacon. Like you got the software product, but you also need the plan. Now, you can still do the software product without the plan. You say, hey, I don't need Greg, I'm just going to do it on my own. Well, the takeaway from today is, for goodness sake, get started. And this offer of the added extra plan is only available to the people who came on today's webinar. This is not a general free-for-all invitation.
Yep.
So there's two. When I talk about the plan, let me just explain that. So the Alumni Engagement Plan that's valued at $5,000 is literally an off-the-shelf guide to building an alumni engagement. It'll have everything in there, right? But it's not what we call bespoke. It's not, let's say you're at St. Peter's, or you're at De La Salle, or you're at, St. Scholastica's, or, wherever you are at Xavier, wherever you are in the world. So it won't be nuanced to Xavier or St. Peter's or De La Salle. It'll be a generic plan. If you want it nuanced to your school, then I'll give you a price to do it, of course. But obviously, these is a lot more affordable than saying, well, look, Greg, sit with me for another couple of months and let's make sure it's nuanced to De La Salle or Xavier, etc. So that's it today. What are we going to do, Prashant and Nathan, is Prashant and Nathan's team is going to reach out to you over the next week, or you get started. We've got everyone who's registered today. There might be a few questions that we might need to deal with in the last 5 minutes. And from a Catholic Schools Guide perspective, because we'd love you all to be part of Catholic schools, and many of the people who are on the call today are already in Catholic Schools Guide, either print and or digital alone, depending on where they are in Australia. Amy will reach out to you. None of us pressure anybody. We always respect that you're busy, that no is okay. We'd obviously like you to be saying yes and working with us, because we think we're bringing a fabulous solution for you that will put hours back in your day. Prashant, are there any questions that you're seeing off the
Yeah, there's a question, from Susan as well. So Nathan, if you can elaborate on this one, can you download the alumni data from Alumni if I need to use it for another purpose outside of Alumni?
Yeah, absolutely. So within the back end of the system, all your data can be exported out as a main bulk batch, or you can slice and dice that data. So you could look for, maybe you just want to look for accountants, or you want to look for all your alumni in London. So you can do that search in the back end, and then you can just spit out and export that data as well. So absolutely fine to do.
One from me, Nathan. Say
Yeah.
I've got 37 guys or girls, and I'm looking to do a reunion for the class of, 2003, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
I've got 37 people on the platform, and I need to send them an invitation to the reunion. Obviously, I can do that within the platform.
Yeah, that's a good point, Greg. One thing I never even mentioned was we have an email marketing built into the platform as well. So yes, you can do the search, create a list, and then send an email straight off to that particular list that you've created. So
brilliant.
Thanks
Love
for
it.
bringing that up, Greg. There's
No,
a lot of parts to it, and good one.
Yeah, and Greg, just to answer, just to elaborate on that one as well, you can also, once people have registered for events or anything like that, you can, export those data as well and try and actually, generate like analytics and reporting based on who are your regular attendees or who are your regular donors and things like that.
Well, clearly there's a lot of interest because no one's left the webinar. And so we'd like to run to time, and obviously there might be more questions. And of course you can book in a demo directly with Nathan and Prashant to say, look, I just want to see it in a little bit more detail. This is a taster. I've seen enough to make me really excited. And the fact that I recommend Alumni to our clients, because it's a best-in-class product. And what you're getting with the way Nathan and I approach architecture, modern, contemporary, very user-friendly interfaces that are built in the back end with really good architecture. They're not clunky old legacy systems that were built 25 years ago and are kind of being bolted on together and band-aids here and band-aids there. This is a fresh, newly built architectured system. So it's sort of best in class. So that's what I like. And Nathan and Prashant, thank you for joining us. Amy and Christy, thank you for joining us. This session was recorded. It will be available to you next week. I will do a plug before you leave. Christy, would you mind just, Nathan, if you could just stop sharing your screen and let Christy, there is one more thing I do want to let everyone on the world know. Yeah. This is part 1 of our Lunch and Learn series. So Christy, if you would like to bring up your slide deck when you're ready. I'm really hoping that everyone on the webinar will tell their head of curriculum or their head of learning about next week's webinar, which is probably not a marketing. We just lost your screen there, Christy. Come back onto your PowerPoint, please. Yes. Which is probably not marketing and alumni related, but it's the science of learning, translating research into practice. This is about one of a Catholic Schools Guide partners called Essential Assessments. And this whole webinar will be about how kids learn, research, practice, assessment. So your head of learning, special education, head of curriculum, please go and let them know Christy, can you put the link into the chat, please?
Yes, I said hello.
Copy that link from the chat.
Yep.
And please, we really encourage, it's the same time next week. Christy's going to put the Zoom registration. If you could send it to your head of curriculum, head of teaching and learning, we would be most grateful, because it's probably not one for you, although of course you're welcome to join. We'd love you to, and I think Christy, have you popped that in the chat yet? Is that
I'm
there?
just pulling up the link now.
All right.
Yep.
And of course we can email it out as well, but we want to finish on time and make sure that people get away and have their much needed lunch.
Yes.
Have you got that link for me or no?
I got the link. Yeah, I'm just trying to get out of my share screen.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, you're out of your share screen now, and if you can whack that into the chat, that would be lovely.
Lovely doing that now. Thank you.
And while Christy's doing that, I just want to say thanks to Amy and Nath. There it is. It's in the chat. So please copy that whilst it's there in the chat and email it to your head of learning or your head of curriculum or your principal or whoever you think would be interested in that kind of best practice pedagogical piece that we're really chuffed to have bring you at Catholic Schools Guide best in class products. And we think that Nathan and Prashant have done that today. So Nath, on behalf of myself and our company, always great working with you and Prashant. And
thank you, Greg. Thanks for having me.
Pleasure.